Courtney Peay, and my artist name is Queen Blue. I am an abstract artist. I am a women's basketball coach, life coach, certified life coach. I'm also qualified to give pastoral counseling.
How'd you start?
So painting started off as like a therapy thing for me when I was in grad school. And I was like, at the time I was a grad assistant for the college I was coaching at full-time. Then I was a full-time PE teacher, and then I was a full-time student. And then I would do ministry with my best friend on the weekends and my spiritual family, so it was very busy. And when you emotionally show up for everybody every day, you have to make time for yourself. And so I started painting. And I mean, when I was in the fourth grade, I used to draw cartoons all the time, always trying to draw Dragon Ball Z characters. That was my thing back then. So I started painting, and it was very helpful. At the time, I didn't have like insurance to get a therapist or anything like that, so painting was my therapy. It really started from therapy, but it started for me to just it was a journey of me dealing with myself. Dealing with self, finding out who Courtney is, and being okay with the fact that I'm more than an athlete. I've been an athlete I was an athlete for 21 years, and then I started coaching. So I've been coaching for 6. So I've been part of the game of basketball for 27 years. That's a long time. I think I did my math right. Or 26, one of the two. But it's been a long time, and being a creative was something new. Like, to be like, no, you're also a creative. It was like, me? Like, all my friends, being in New York, they're singers, musicians, all type of artists. And I'm sitting there like, I hoop. But I'm like, nah, you do more than that.
How was your support system when you started?
Oh, it was great. My best friends were very supportive of me. My best friend Aaliyah, she would always support me and be like, this is gonna sell millions. And I'd be like, you are bugging. No, it's not. My sister, both of my big sisters, I'll call them, my sister Brittany, and then my big sister Sareve, they were very, very supportive of me. And then I found out my mom is an artist. So they're very supportive. I think sometimes they are way more confident in me than I am myself. My brother Princeton, when he came down to help me set up for my art gallery, he went in there to help set up everything, but he's one of my biggest fans as well. He's like, always like, your stuff can be on a movie set, or it can be in hotels. All of my friends are always telling me that. They're like, your stuff can be in hotels, it can be beauty shops. They're like, just keep painting. And I'm just like, I don't know, but it's been really great. I love to surround myself with people that can be more supportive of your vision, even when the times don't feel like you want to support it yourself. It's good to have people like that, people that will run with you and push your vision with you.
What's the biggest lesson you learned about yourself?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think the biggest lesson that I've learned about myself is that I know that my heart is beautiful. I know that it's big, and I know that my heart has been through some things. But I've learned that my pain doesn't define me. Pain that I've experienced, or even traumatic experiences that I've had, they're never wasted. I always tell people nothing is ever wasted, and I'm often talking about how every season bears fruit. One of my new favorite scriptures is hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a longing fulfilled is like a tree of life. I'm stronger than I realized, but it's not something that I could physically do. It was just kind of leaning in on the fact that, like, hey, I experienced some hopelessness. God, like, some of my dreams felt like you showed me the highlight of them, and it didn't look like the present didn't look like the promise. And I learned that I don't have to be perfect in the process. I just have to lean in to whatever the moment is presenting, and know my value and my worth in every one of those moments.
How has your relationship with Jesus gotten stronger in your process?
Ooh, that is a good one. I guess I say that ooh part just because 2 years ago, I felt like God used me, but not in the way that we asked of him to use us. I felt like, I'm even getting emotional, like I felt like I was obedient. I did what you said to. I went to the places that I didn't want to go. God called me to Atlanta, and I don't even like being in the South. I was trying to move here 4 years ago, Then I look around and I felt like I lost everything. I lost my car in the process. Financially, I couldn't get to where I wanted to be. I was just kind of like, all right, so you setting me up to be successful. I get there and none of that happened. I got hired, and the day before I got the job, they told me the job wasn't available anymore. And that was 2 years ago around this time. And that is where that hope deferred, that's when that happened. I was struggling, but it was like still okay, because I'm like, God got me. But I felt like after a long period of time where I felt like, all right, how come you're not showing up? Where you at? And I ended up moving back home to Maryland, where my mom lives. Not something I wanted to do. It was actually the last thing I wanted to do, just because, not because I don't love my mother, but it's just like, after you leave the house, you don't have to come back in because you couldn't figure it out. Financially, you just couldn't take care of yourself. I'm independent that way, so it's just kind of like, I felt like I hit rock bottom. And I started painting again. But like in that, it was just kind of like, Jesus, where are you at? And I got a prophetic word January of 2020, 2020, in January. And that was the first time like I really heard God speak to me in a couple years. God didn't know me from Canada Paint. I knew of her, but she didn't know me. And my best friend dragged me to the front. I was like, I don't want prayer. Like, leave me alone. But got in my business. And she's like, I see a bunch of young people behind you. And she was like, you're going to preach the gospel in unorthodox ways. And I'm crying because I'm like, I hear you, but where you at, homie? It's like she started saying all these other things to me, and that he was going to raise me up to be bold as a lion. And I think I was hanging on by like, not even a thread of faith. I was holding on by like a piece of dust. I was holding on to a piece of dust of faith. I think that word is what I needed. And she was like, I see you having keys of your own. Keys that, she's like, you're going to have ownership to the things that you have. I'm going to hold on to that because I ain't got nothing else to hold on to. And then I fasted for 7 days, and I didn't eat food for 7 days because I had nothing left. I said, God, I have given you everything. And that was like May of 2020, September 11th of 2020, I had gotten this job as a basketball coach.
What was the biggest hurdle you got over it?
I would guess we'll say like when I got here. So when I got here, it was just kind of like, imagine you've been in a fight and you took a lot of blows, and you get somewhere safe to where you can just be like, and I feel like when I got here, I had the keys to my own apartment for the first time. I sit in my apartment a lot of times, and I'm like, sometimes it's like I was kind of catching my breath. And I had to look back at everything and be like, okay, how do I adjust to this? Because I think when people talk about overcoming, they'll just be like, all right, now this is the great thing that happened, and then that's it. But it's like that recovery process still doesn't feel good. Because at the end of the day, it's like, thank you, God, for this blessing, but how do I trust you now that we're here? And because I'm a people person and I love people, I guess that's the pastoral call on my life, is loving people. It felt like my heart was turning cold towards people. And I didn't want people to see that, but it was turning that way. And so I immediately got a therapist, and I just started processing. I would say that how did I overcome a lot of these hurdles really was I started emotionally healing. I started mentally healing. I started spiritually healing. And there's some weeks where I feel like I've taken steps backwards. And there's some weeks where I'm like, I gained a little, all right, I'm doing okay. I got an accountability circle that's just like, Court, keep going, you know. And I think the overcoming the recovery process is really just, the key to it is being intentional. Being intentional to the recovery process, because that'll not even just tell you like, yeah, I reached over that hurdle. Like, no, like I was able to deal with myself, able to deal with not hearing a sorry or getting an apology from people I felt like I deserved them from. That was me reconciling with the Lord, like, you know what, I was wrong in some areas. I probably shouldn't have yelled at you.
What inspires you to keep going?
My nephews and my godson. My boys is what I say. But they inspire me to keep going, and I would say my players too. They inspire me to keep going. Just seeing them is just like, I told my spiritual mother before she passed, I said, I want to be the shoes that people want to fill. And she was like, Courtney, that's a tall order. She said, but you can do it. Pioneering is not easy. Pioneering sucks. For lack of better terms, it sucks, but it's worth it. But I don't want to be like Moses, where I don't get to see the promised land. I want to see the fruits of my labor, and I want to be able to enjoy them as well. And I want my nephews and my godson to enjoy them as well too. Like, I want us all to have fun in that, but they keep me going because I want to show them, like, no matter what it looks like, you gotta keep pushing.
What has been important to your art?
Love. Love has been important, whatever that looks like in the moment. Whenever love is, I think people say love is complex, but love is so many things, and it really is. But I think it's important just because it's something that goes into every piece. Whether it's me dwelling on the past, whether it's me dwelling on the future, or a love that I have yet to experience. I have a piece that's actually my favorite. It's called When We Collide, an ode to my future husband. I have no idea who this man is. I don't know if I've even met him yet, but there's two parts of the painting that look different, but there's this solid white triangle in the middle that connects them. And I put that there, and I left it blank because it's a love that I haven't yet known, but I feel like in my heart it's like as if I've like creating space for him. Like I said, I don't know who he is, but it's like there's a part of me that feels like I'm ready to love him.
What does success mean to you?
Success means that I can walk away from not even walk away in the sense of like not doing it anymore, but like it's like I can leave a table feeling full. Just like, you know what, I feel full with what I accomplished today, because it doesn't mean that success looks like me having my own art gallery or owning it. You know, like success doesn't mean that like I'm finally a coach in the league and I've made it. No, success looks like every day I can close my eyes feeling like, all right, I'm full, you know, or I left this day empty because I gave it what the day required. Not overly exerting myself, which I'm still navigating through, but just finishing the day feeling full, feeling empty of what was required of me in that day.
What's your advice?
Enjoy every moment. Every moment has something beautiful in it, whether it is I'm a very optimistic person, so I'm always thinking of the bright side of things, but just remember that finding out who you are and knowing your value is a journey, and enjoy the moments with yourself, with the people around you. And if there are people who do not suit you well, if there are things that do not suit you well or add to your value, it's okay to let them go. Because you grow better when your soil is good. You grow better when your environment is good. So when it's not, and it's a hindrance, and you show up more spaces than the people around you show up for you, it's time for either to let them go or to just get planted somewhere else, really.
What has consistency taught you?
Consistency has taught me that being consistent produces results. The more consistent you are with anything, practicing also taught me that you can trust the work that you put into it. If you're consistent with the work that you put in, your confidence is really in the work. So, yeah.
What is a part of the process you had to learn to love?
Oh, the parts that I don't like.
Yeah.
The parts that feel uncomfortable, the parts that make you feel exposed, make you feel like I'm failing at this miserably, the parts where you feel broken. I have a responsibility over young adults, young student athletes, young women and men, because I'm also, just a vessel on the campus. It's a small campus, so I try to get to know different students. But when you have a responsibility like that, sometimes it's like all of the things that I feel like are weaknesses are icky. I feel like they see them, and I feel like I'm failing them, and I'm not doing enough or doing a disservice to them. But I had to learn, and they've taught me that in ways too, being like, one of my players came up to me with tears in her eyes. She was like, "Coach, I just feel like I need to tell you this, but you're enough for us." And I was like, well, now, I'm a thug, I don't cry. But I needed to hear that. So falling in love with the uncomfortable moments, because they're meant to be there. And honestly, the uncomfortable moments keep you humble. Because you can't do everything on your own, and it's not going to be perfect.
Well, thank you for doing this.
Absolutely.